The world watched with bated breath as Russian President Vladimir Putin unveiled a new nuclear doctrine, sending shockwaves across the globe. This announcement was not just another political maneuver, it was a stark reminder of the fragile balance of power that governs our world. This doctrine, a chilling articulation of Russia's nuclear posture, outlined a more aggressive stance, emphasizing the readiness to use nuclear weapons in a broader range of scenarios. It has ignited widespread fear and condemnation, with leaders and citizens alike expressing their alarm. The doctrine's implications are far-reaching, affecting not just military strategies, but also international relations and global stability. Raising the spectre of nuclear conflict to its highest point in decades, this development has brought back memories of the Cold War era, when the threat of nuclear annihilation loomed large over the world. The very foundations of global security are being tested as the world grapples with the potential ramifications of this aggressive stance. The United Nations and other international bodies are now faced with the daunting task of addressing this new reality. This new era of nuclear threat is not a hypothetical scenario confined to academic circles, it is the stark reality we now face. Experts are convening to discuss the potential outcomes and strategies to mitigate the risks. It is the stark reality we now face. The general public, too, is feeling the weight of this new threat, with a palpable sense of unease permeating daily life. The stakes have never been higher, and the need for international cooperation and diplomacy has never been more critical. World leaders are engaging in urgent discussions, seeking ways to de-escalate tensions and find a path to peace. The world holds its breath, waiting to see how this dangerous game of nuclear chess will play out. Each move is being watched closely, with the hope that cooler heads will prevail. The consequences of miscalculation are too dire to contemplate. A single error in judgment could lead to catastrophic outcomes, affecting millions of lives and altering the course of history. Yet the threat is real and must be addressed with the utmost seriousness and urgency. The international community must come together, not just to condemn this doctrine, but to actively work towards reducing the nuclear threat and ensuring a safer future for all. At the heart of this new doctrine lies a chilling departure from Russia's previous nuclear stance. This shift marks a significant and alarming change in global nuclear policy, one that has far-reaching implications for international security and stability. Gone is the long-held principle of retaliatory nuclear strikes, a doctrine that, while still terrifying, was based on the notion of deterrence. The idea was that nuclear weapons would only be used in response to a nuclear attack, thereby preventing their use in the first place. This principle has now been replaced by a far more aggressive and destabilizing posture. The new doctrine allows for the possibility of preemptive nuclear strikes, a strategy that fundamentally changes the nature of nuclear deterrence. Russia now reserves the right to launch preemptive nuclear strikes in response to what it perceives as threats to its sovereignty and territorial integrity. This means that any perceived threat, whether real or imagined, could potentially trigger a nuclear response. This shift towards preemption dramatically lowers the threshold for nuclear war, making the world a far more dangerous place. The potential for miscalculation and escalation is significantly increased as the line between conventional and nuclear conflict becomes blurred. The potential for miscalculation and escalation is amplified as perceived threats, real or imagined, could trigger a catastrophic nuclear exchange. This new doctrine creates a highly volatile and unpredictable security environment. Furthermore, the doctrine explicitly broadens the scope of potential targets. This means that the range of scenarios in which Russia might consider using nuclear weapons has expanded, increasing the risk of nuclear conflict. No longer limited to nuclear-armed adversaries, Russia now considers conventional military actions by states aligned with nuclear powers, such as NATO members supporting Ukraine, as potential triggers for a nuclear response. This broadening of the nuclear umbrella means that even conventional conflicts could escalate to nuclear war. This dangerous expansion of the nuclear umbrella injects a terrifying level of uncertainty into any conflict involving Russia. The implications of this new doctrine are profound, as it increases the likelihood of nuclear weapons being used in a conflict, with devastating consequences for global security and stability. The international community must grapple with this new reality and work towards de-escalation and dialogue. Diplomatic efforts and arms control agreements are more crucial than ever to prevent the catastrophic consequences of a nuclear conflict. The stakes have never been higher, and the need for a concerted global effort to address these challenges is urgent. The international community has responded to Russia's new nuclear doctrine with a mixture of condemnation and cautious diplomacy. This doctrine, which outlines a more aggressive stance on the use of nuclear weapons, has sent shockwaves through diplomatic circles worldwide. The implications of such a policy shift are profound, raising the stakes in an already tense global landscape. Western powers have been swift to denounce the move, characterizing it as irresponsible, reckless, and a dangerous escalation of tensions. Leaders from the United States, the United Kingdom, France, and Germany have all issued statements condemning Russia's actions. They argue that this doctrine undermines decades of efforts to reduce the threat of nuclear war and destabilizes the fragile balance of power. The United States, while preoccupied with its own domestic challenges, has dismissed the doctrine as empty threats, but remains vigilant in monitoring Russia's nuclear posture. American officials have reiterated their commitment to maintaining a strong deterrent while also pursuing diplomatic avenues to address the issue. The Pentagon has increased surveillance and intelligence-gathering efforts to ensure any changes in Russia's nuclear capabilities are detected promptly. NATO, facing the most direct consequences of Russia's aggressive stance, has expressed deep concern and urged restraint. The alliance has convened multiple emergency meetings to discuss the potential ramifications and to formulate a cohesive response. NATO's Secretary-General has called for unity among member states, emphasizing the importance of a collective defense strategy in the face of this new threat. The alliance is walking a tightrope, seeking to deter further Russian aggression while avoiding actions that could be misconstrued and escalate the situation. This delicate balance requires careful coordination and communication among NATO members, as well as with other global powers. Military exercises have been ramped up, and contingency plans are being updated to ensure readiness in case of any escalation. European leaders caught in the crosshairs of this nuclear standoff have echoed these sentiments, emphasizing the need for dialogue and de-escalation. They have called for renewed diplomatic efforts to address the underlying issues driving Russia's aggressive posture. The European Union has also been active in seeking to mediate and facilitate discussions between Russia and the West, aiming to prevent a further deterioration of relations. The spectre of nuclear war looms large over the continent, a haunting reminder of Europe's own history of devastating conflict. The memories of World War II and the Cold War are still fresh in the minds of many, and the prospect of a new nuclear threat is deeply unsettling. European citizens and leaders alike are acutely aware of the catastrophic consequences that could arise from a miscalculation or miscommunication in this high-stakes environment. The call for peace and stability has never been more urgent. As we delve deeper into the intricacies of nuclear tensions, it's crucial to understand the underlying factors that perpetuate this global issue. The arms race, political rivalries, and historical grievances all contribute to a volatile mix. Nations driven by a combination of fear and ambition continue to develop and stockpile nuclear weapons. This relentless pursuit not only heightens the risk of conflict, but also undermines efforts for disarmament and peace. The stakes are incredibly high, and the path to resolution remains fraught with challenges. Yet, understanding these dynamics is the first step towards a safer, more secure world. As tensions escalate, the nation finds itself divided. Citizens grapple with the looming threat of nuclear conflict, each faction believing their stance is the one that will ensure survival. The uncertainty and fear are palpable, creating a powder keg ready to ignite. In this climate, fear and uncertainty are amplified. Media outlets, political leaders, and social networks play a significant role in stoking these emotions. The constant barrage of alarming news and speculative scenarios leaves the public in a perpetual state of anxiety. We are witnessing a dangerous paradigm shift. The norms and treaties that once kept nuclear tensions in check are being questioned and in some cases outright abandoned. This shift in the geopolitical landscape increases the risk of miscalculation and unintended escalation. The world stands on edge, watching and waiting. Diplomats scramble to find solutions while military forces remain on high alert. The balance between maintaining peace and preparing for the worst is a delicate one, and the stakes have never been higher.